We're live!
Okay, hello. Yay. Alright, we got it to work this time. Behind the scenes, we had some
Technical difficulties.
Yes. Today we're talking about LGBT and all this. I would say plus, but sometimes you just gotta make it a little fancier. But anyway, we have Joey on today, and we're gonna talk about that. So Joey, how's your day?
It's going pretty good, John. How about you?
I got up at 2. I was up at 9, but my dog said I had to take her out, so I had to do that. And then I slept. It's been a wild day for me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I'm at least able to do the podcast.
There you go.
What about you, Jack?
I'm doing all right. I had an AP test yesterday. I had AP tests tomorrow, so I'm just kind of getting ready for that. So hoping to get done here kind of soon with school, but I'm glad that we all found time in our day.
Yes.
It's crazy to think about. We're all stuck home, but yet we're still very busy and don't always have time. So,
right? It's weird.
Yeah, you'd think that, you'd have more time, but I guess not. So, oh well. Well, I guess we're talking LGBTQ and the MeToo movement today. So,
yes.
As you are our guest, Joey, we'll let you kick things off.
Okay, so I think I'm going to begin this conversation with the idea that these big movements, such as the Me Too movement, are, I guess, digging the people of the LGBTQ community's graves, because I feel like what makes people hate their concept or what they stand for is the fact that these LGBTQ protesters are spewing stuff in their face. And people don't want stuff to be spewed into their faces, right?
You mean protesters as in, like, people who don't want the communities to have success, or the communities themselves?
Communities themselves.
Okay.
I think in more simpler terms, you mean, like, the identity politics. It's like, if you don't agree with me, you're a racist kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So people don't want to hear that all the time by these movements.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what other way that I can think of that these LGBTQ protesters can get their point across without protesting. But I believe that it's not effective what they're doing, because constant, opinions are being shoved down people's throats with political cartoons all the time. You see it on the news. For an example, in Northampton, you see, rainbow flags everywhere, and I just think
Northampton is a little bit like
Northampton is
swinging that way.
Outlier. That's a little bit of an outlier. You're right.
I still love Northampton.
I don't go there enough, but anyway, it just annoys me to see rainbow flags on, like, the crosswalks or hanging in every single window. Not because I don't support it, but because it's been shoved down my throat. I feel like most of my
when you see that, what are you supposed to think? You just
what do you associate it with? I associate it with being annoyed and being angry at these people who are, constantly, like I said, shoving stuff down my throat. And I don't like that. I don't like to be, yelled at in my face. I just think that it should be.
Has this actually ever happened to you?
Yes, I have experience.
Really?
I do.
My God.
I do.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, I'll vouch for Joey. Like, there are, and I assume our school, but I don't know.
It was in the school.
Yeah, we have some very
passionate.
I don't know if I'd use the word I like the word radical. But I think it just comes down to, like, I guess the word is passionate. That just, anytime someone, has a differing opinion, and, I mean,
especially with, like, a lot of younger people, they don't Their emotions will come first, and the logic will come
Right,
next.
and I feel like, Joey, you don't hate gay people or, lesbians or, right, I would assume.
Joey? Uh-oh.
We'll come back to that point. To address your point, John. Yeah, I guess that comes down to like the whole thing of like people are not exposed to ideas. So when they say like, oh, people are opposed to conservative ideas, no, you're just not exposed to conservative ideas. You know what I mean? So that becomes like the one side of politics.
They're brung up by propaganda.
It's the one side of politics.
Oh.
But
anyway, Joey.
Yeah, back to my point.
So no,
I would assume that
nothing against no.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, why?
I mean, I'm all about treating everybody, equally, and everybody is the same, under my vision. But obviously, people have opinions, and you don't have to agree with those opinions. But all I ask is that you be conscious of other people's opinions, which I feel like the Democratic Party isn't as, I guess, accepting of there being an opposition in opinions towards the Republican Party. And because of that, they're often rude, and they don't give, I guess, conservatives a chance to really explain themselves and look at it from a logical standpoint.
Like I
said, I feel like that the Democratic Party is mostly using emotion to back up their arguments.
Like we said last week, being conservative is hard.
Because you have to tell people no.
It takes gut, it takes determination, and it takes some thinking and thought out. It's not the easy way, but the easy way never gets anyone anywhere. So, to your point, I don't think that we should be ostracizing people into political views. And I mean, that goes on the basis of every social issue from Black Lives Matter to abortion. I mean, it's not that... I mean, just assuming that Republicans are racist or anti-gay or, all of them are, is simply not true. It's just that you care about things that we don't. And don't ostracize Republicans when they tell you, no, we do not care about, gay pride or whatever. It's not that they value you differently. It's just they simply do not care about, you know what I mean? You were saying so.
Yeah, it's lately I've seen it as the Republicans or conservatives, at least me, are more likely to cherish similarities than differences. I see the Democrats and most liberals go for accepting differences more so than think about it like this. If I was in the same room as a liberal and we were talking about this, I would be more likely to advertise accepting the similarities between people and not going about taking apart the differences. But I feel like it would be the reverse for the liberal. It would be about accepting the differences and ignoring the similarities, which you could argue just reaches the same exact point. But I feel like if you accept similarities, then it's easier to see that we're not all different at all.
Therefore, everybody should be equal.
I mean, all men are created equal. And that doesn't mean just men for any of you people that don't understand basic English.
Well, okay. Back then it did mean just men, but now it's fine. Now it's everybody.
Yes.
But I think the real nail in the coffin here, or for like these communities, is trans people. I don't personally have a problem with trans people, but they are confounding.
I think that's the issue. And you know, that's interesting. You said that you bring that up because that goes back to like oh shit. What was my point? Oh, that goes back to like way back the civil rights and the women's movement. The whole like keep them separate. They have different, you know, agendas, different you know, whatever. I feel like, and then that's the same today. You could argue that the LGBT
have been accepted.
LGB most likely, you know, should be separated from the T, you know, so yeah,
they're very different, like in their problems and in just who they are.
Right. So, and then connecting it to the feminist movement just creates a bigger kibosh.
Yeah, like when you're an outsider looking in, it's just like, what is going on?
No, because when you look at it, it's like you're actually polarizing more people. So by putting LGB with T, with MeToo, with well, MeToo is part of like the feminist movement, but well, Me Too is actually just really a hashtag, but you start to ostracize different people because someone that might be accepting to the LGB community might not accept the T community, or they might be a misogynist and don't support the Me Too movement. So when you put things together, you ostracize certain people. So like someone like myself is completely okay with the LGB community, like completely fine with them. The trans community, I get into a little bit more of the mud as far as like, you know, government programs, conversion therapies, and or all not conversion therapies. That's for gay people.
Oh wait, is that?
No. What?
Not support that.
What's the word? Not.
It's like I know what you're talking about.
The change, the process. What is that called?
Yeah, just the surgery.
Oh, right.
Transitions.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we don't actually support conversion therapy.
No, that was the wrong word. I apologize.
I made that mistake with disenfranchised. I think in our last episode.
Yes, I think that's what it was. Yes. No, but like, when you get into like, when they start talking about how 3-year-olds say they're female or male, and you have these parents like, you know, there's DCF cases brought up against these parents for not respecting the will of the child, and you know, saying, "Oh, I'm a male," or "I'm a female," and the parents saying, "Well, no, you're not, Johnny." Like, so
like. Until a certain point, I don't think it should be encouraged to be something else because that's not what they are. If they want to be that, then down the line you can expose that to them. But when they're like 3-5 years old, I think it's dangerous.
As Ben Shapiro put it, and I kind of like the way he put it, was I wouldn't let my 3-year-old home alone because he would die or get seriously hurt. So why are you letting him make a decision about what sexuality that they're going to be, and propping it up and making life-changing decisions at the age of 3 when they can't even survive without a parent or other human or guardian?
Right.
So like, I mean, I don't think putting this in the hands of anyone younger than the age of...
I would say
really? I'd say 18. Do I think
Yeah.
people can make a decision at 17? Yes. 16? Maybe. But I think the general consensus should be 18, and that should be that. Because, I mean, that goes with
Yeah.
everything. It's like, I mean, some people are able to make decisions or do things earlier than other people, but I think to have a general consensus, yeah, you know, I would say you cannot go through the procedure until you're 18. That, I mean,
Yeah,
that would be a
safest.
pretty easy.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be a pretty easy say, like, yeah, okay,
Because then you can't really mess up any biological. Like, okay,
Well,
if you're a male.
well, I
it's
mean, if
different.
we get into the biological thing, then you're looking at like 25, 30. But
Yeah.
once you hit 18, I see it as you're on your own, basically, and it's
Yeah.
not like it's not the problem of the parents, because then
Yeah.
the parents get involved, and then that becomes an issue, and consent and all this shit, and so I think as far as moving forward, that would be your end all solution, or compromise, not your solution. But I think what people miss is, do we really fully understand what the LGBTQ movement is?
It seems like they want rights.
They have rights.
That's yeah.
But yeah, but like,
I think
that's
it's more
besides
against.
the point.
I think it's more against bias.
That
And-
is a better. That's probably better for what they want. But like, let's see. By the way, for anyone who couldn't tell, and we'll probably edit this in, or I will. This is an outsider's perspective.
Yeah.
Ooh, we could just change the title. That'll make it easier. But regardless, when I look at these movements, I just see like similar things to race movements, where they're not getting treated with the respect they deserve, or they don't have the same. Yeah, I think you're right. Bias is the way to look at this.
I mean, there's no real other way to look at it. They have everything that any person could ever want.
Right, they have freedom. Like, we get
So that's
into
the only thing left.
Right.
That makes sense.
We get into the weeds of like bathrooms and stuff, but that's not a problem of the LGB community.
Yeah, that's trans.
Yeah, so LGBTQ plus community, if you're listening, I would separate, because no, and I'm serious when you say that, because the more people you add, the more people you polarize, and I think you could really do something for the LGB community if you basically excluded the trans community. Now, I know that might not be what you want to do, and you want it across the board, but some things take waves.
Yeah.
So, I guess you can make the argument with, the civil rights. I mean, yes, Lincoln freed the slaves hundreds of years ago, or hundreds. Oh my God, I'm stupid. Almost 200 years ago. 150. I always do that. I always just mess the date up by a mile. Almost 150 years ago now. Or, wait, 100.
155.
155?
Yep.
Okay. That's close. All right. 155 years ago, but then you realize that the civil rights movement was really only, 50, 60, 70 years ago. So,
yeah.
And now today you have Black Lives Matter. So it's really in waves. And it comes down to, what will people accept. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't accept certain things and whatnot, and I mean, but a lot of times it gets into the weeds of religion, and that's
Right.
where it becomes tricky because, separation of church and state. Now, I mean, you could make the arguments, separation of church and state. So anything on the government level shouldn't be favored to religion, but that's not really what that means in the sense that if you can't legislate people looking at you differently. So
yeah, that's really hard.
I feel like you have to be conscious of a difference between toleration and acceptance. It should be
right.
It should be illegal.
Hey, that's a good point.
It should be illegal to have intolerance. Like obviously you can't, prevent somebody
That is the
from
most
thinking
authoritarian thing I've ever heard you say.
that you can't.
Yeah, I would just argue that.
Oh wow. That is a take for the ages. Holy shit.
Like I was saying, you can't obviously force somebody to think a certain way, right?
Right.
But in the eyes of the law, you can.
No.
Legally.
Okay.
Like,
No.
any
You can't.
Finish.
Okay.
Let me finish.
All right.
You can't use the grounds of sex, race, religion as justification for doing something. You shouldn't be able to do that. However,
okay,
nobody is saying that you have to accept what these people are doing. As long as you respect them, I think everything will work out. But obviously, you can't ever eliminate racism, discrimination anywhere. That's just totally unrealistic. And all we can do is promote it and just
I see what he
evolve
means,
from there.
But by stepping on toleration and making it, or like intolerance and making it illegal, you have stepped on a couple other
that becomes
vines
restrictive of
in the
speech.
garden.
That becomes
Yeah.
restriction on speech. Now, like,
Well, I mean, not being vocal about it, but just using.
If
like I
you
said,
could
using
word it in a way that prevented people from like outright. But then, how do you enforce that?
Right? You can't.
I'm trying to think this as I go.
You can't.
We need secret police for this.
Yeah.
You can't create a false reality of people believing things. There will be anti-gay people. There will be anti-trans people. There will be anti-female, feminine rights. There will be racists. There will be Nazis. There will be anti-Semitics. Like, this is just that's just life, really. I mean, I would even argue there's anti-white people now because, like,
oh yeah,
I mean,
the Black Lives Matter movement, I think,
right?
Not all of them, but some of them, like they're vouching for the one thing they're trying to get rid of.
Right. Okay, I'm glad like you see the hypocrisy in that too. But like, and I said this in last week's podcast. A new study shows 10 in 10 Americans are racist or discriminate against someone else. So, like,
I think the best we can do is like, we should just reverse engineer what you want, Joey. Instead of outright chokeholding people, we should teach them that people of differences are okay and that we have similarities. Whoa.
Well, I would argue
we're all people.
I would argue that's an authoritarian.
Well, it is, but that's who I am.
I know, but like again, that goes back to my not really, but I as the government should not be forcing you into believing something. So like, regardless is if you think it's right or wrong, if someone is anti-gay, anti-transgender, anti-black, whatever have you, you have to respect their opinion.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it. You won't do anything about it. And any form of government oversight, law, regulation, what have you, is restriction of free speech. The fundamental idea of this country. I don't think you people realize, and I've made this argument a couple times to people, where I've said, where they have advocated for restriction of hate speech and stuff like that. And I was like, you know how dangerous that is?
Yeah, you can't.
Well, it should be only if it incites violence.
Well, I mean, if you say...
Well, no, but you should just ban the violence.
Well, no, because that comes down to, like, I believe it's a YouTube video, how to get locked in jail or something instantly, and saying, I'm going to kill the president, you know?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Half is interesting. Half is interesting.
Yes, right, yeah. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, stuff like that. But I mean,
that's
can
on
you?
the
But
highest
could you
level
could you even prosecute that? I mean,
Not
John,
really.
if I said to you, I'm gonna kill you, and that was it, like, what would you
The
be able to do?
context, nothing. 'Cause
Right, so-
context matters. Perspective on if it's a joke or not. Matters.
Context, relationship, if I have a plot to kill you, or you know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
context does matter. We would hope that a judge always makes the right decision, but judges have agendas, people have agendas, people have opinions, judges have opinions, so again, that goes back to how are you going to protect civil liberties?
Yeah, this is like all a big civil liberties problem.
Right.
Because I think people just want to go about it either the super wrong way or just the somewhat
Look at
wrong
it this way. Look at it this way. I have the right to be a Nazi if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I have the right to say, you know, I think that black people are inferior. I have the right to say that. Do I believe either of those two things? No. Am I a Nazi? No. But when you start saying that we need to lock people up for saying that, again, that goes back to the whole driver's license about a toaster. What are you going to lock people up for saying, I hate you, or I dislike it, or, you know what I mean? Because, and that's where the whole, like, Twitter thing comes in, and like, why does Twitter get to decide? And I mean, I get it.
Why does Twitter get to decide?
I mean, it's so ironic that the one thing that I think needs to be regulated is the one thing that government doesn't regulate, and that's tech. So, you know, I mean, not full regulation. Like, I actually don't even believe in net neutrality, but we can get into that later.
Yes.
But, like, big tech censorship, I think, is the biggest need for regulation. And that's coming from an anti-regulationist. So, yeah.
I see, just to interject real quick if I can, on Instagram all the time, I follow multiple political people. And they're posting, you know, cartoons and like messages all the time. And
do you follow
Instagram,
two sides of politics?
I will after this podcast. I see Instagram actually censoring and saying on the screen, they blank out the meme or whatever it is. They say on the screen, this is false information checked by our fact checkers. And that's it. You can't see anything.
Can I ask who?
Like what user?
Yeah.
Sure. Give me 1 second to pull it up.
Or just like some of them. Like, you can give me a list.
I think
the other thing about this is, have you actually clicked on the fact checking thing?
I have.
They do
and nothing
actually say
happens.
who it is.
I have, and for me at least, nothing happens.
It's possibly that you've been scammed. It's a possibility that people.
It is a possibility. You're right. Absolutely.
Well,
Because
I mean,
when I click on that stuff, I get the people from Africa did this, or people from
Right.
whoever checked
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
You know, I have never seen one of those.
It
Well,
depends
what's
on who you
weird?
follow.
What's weird is that I look in the comments and people have the same issue.
Huh. That's
So
weird.
that's what
I've
makes-
never
that's what makes me
never
question it.
seen that in my life.
Yeah, it was a meme for a while to do fake ones where you couldn't actually do anything.
Huh.
Just like those like click the next slide ones that are not actually able to be gone to the next slide. They just send you to your DM.
Yeah. I think one of the channels was Nutsy Nancy.
Nutsy Nancy. Huh. Well,
Alright,
I guess.
now I think
As
that you
in
just have
Nancy
to have
Pelosi.
difficulties, because that sounds like a thing that would be real.
Well, I mean, I follow the Daily Wire, but like the Daily Wire is very like established and
Mhm.
Yeah.
to some degree credible. So, but then I also
Yeah.
follow Louder with Crowder, but Louder with Crowder, he's actually really good about fact checking himself. So, I don't know. I must not follow enough like I would say radical Instagram accounts. But like, yeah, I guess I could see. Yeah, that's a problem. Why is Instagram making the determination that this not that it's false, but that it should be taken down or it should be censored and
It's just
Like,
it should be.
it's because they are a microcosm of the world. Like, social media is its own little like Earth, so they need, and it spirals out of control very quickly. Like, the reason this happens is because big media companies like Facebook, Twitter, and such are afraid of fake news, and it's so easy to conjure up fake news on social media that they feel the need to control it.
well, because they're getting so much flack from that Russian thing.
Yeah, which is why they're doing this now, to make sure it doesn't happen again.
But
Yes,
I mean,
does
to say
speech.
that Russia meddling in our election, I mean, you people don't realize that the United States meddles in every election possible. Do I have to go through the last 10 wars? Do I have to go through the last 10 wars?
I mean, that doesn't justify anyone, but
No,
it
I
does
know,
raise
but
a
like,
point.
I'm saying like it's very common. The United States does it, and that is on you. So
Yeah,
because
Vietnam.
Vietnam, North Korea, Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, it just keeps going.
Mhm.
It's almost like every war is started because of politics.
Or U.S. intervention.
Yeah, which is politics. It's almost like less government.
Isolation.
Anyway,
Sorry, I had to get my libertarian plug in there.
just to get back on track.
Yes.
I'm gonna supply the liberal take here and say that like these minority groups are definitely not respected at all. Like I think that either most Americans are too ignorant or are actually biased against them to give them the time of day. But also, I just as an actual person not supplying the liberal take, I don't see where this is a huge issue. I remember back in 2014 when it was a legitimate problem. Like when you couldn't get married because you were gay, because the law didn't exist, and because
I mean that
was
is
a real
fine.
issue. Yes,
But I mean that's I guess tell me where gays don't have rights.
yeah. Like, what are they now looking for? Their messages. Are they just looking for respect? But
They're looking for social equality, which is
They're not going to get it.
Right.
They're just not going to get it.
right.
It's because
no one.
they're the minority.
Okay. So MLK, you ever read the speech "Letter from a Burning Hand," Joe?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So do you know how in it he says the ministers are telling him to wait, and he said, "No, we're done waiting," right?
Yes.
Okay. So basically now it is a waiting game because you do have the legal aspect of rights. You will win in a court of law. Yes. But
I feel like
you cannot legislate social beliefs. And you shouldn't be able to legislate freedom of speech. So, and that goes for hate speech. So
hate speech. This is the problem.
So, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say if there were just genuinely better people on the earth that, like, minded their own business, it's almost like if we told government to get the hell out of our life and let everyone live an individual life and mind their own business stay in their own lane. Oh my God, it's the libertarian pitch.
I'm gonna hit you with this, Jack.
All right.
Without government, they would have never been able to marry.
Why can't they just live in harmony together?
Who has the laws?
Because people.
Isn't the government the one who legislates the laws?
Why do you need government to tell you that you are married? Wouldn't you just
because you need a nation's acknowledgement in order for it to be legit.
You realize no. Because it would be validated via the church.
No, it's too split up. There's too many factions in churches.
Well, if I get married to my wife in a Christian church, then I'm recognized.
Yeah, but okay,
Christian church.
laws surrounding marriage benefits don't acknowledge that church.
Well, the whole reason the state recognizes marriage is tax purposes, right?
And healthcare benefits.
Basically taxes, yeah.
Right, but that's regardless. It opens up a rabbit hole where if the government doesn't have some control over society, then everyone is just going to do whatever the hell they want. And
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's it. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Jack, before laws banning the acts that we deem irredeemable, everyone was doing them.
Everyone was doing
slavery,
slavery. Yeah, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That falls in that category. If you are taking away the liberty of someone else, you don't like that. That falls in line of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, because you're taking away someone's liberty. It's slavery is taking away someone's liberty. It's illegal. Well, murder is taking away someone's life. It's illegal.
But that's too general. That's too general. People will argue that it's not their happiness that is being taken away, so it's not illegal. And
well, if your happiness affects someone, if your happiness affects someone else's life or liberty, then it's illegal.
That's what it should be, but without legitimate. Okay,
right. That's what it should be.
The Constitution doesn't specify what exactly is. People will twist it this way, and this is why.
And this is why government grows.
But it doesn't have to grow like that.
No. People twist this, which causes government to grow. If every law was made on the basis of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the government would be very tiny.
Okay, yes, but also that doesn't regulate. They still need to have some power because that doesn't regulate absolutely everything. What about all the gray items? Social respect. People who are in the communities of gay, lesbian, and such.
So for example,
that could cause hatred towards the government, though.
Whoa, wait. So, I guess I'll bring up an example of it then. So, if I was gay and I went to a bakery and I wanted a cake for my gay wedding, and the guy was like, "No,"
I've seen this example.
I know. That's why I'm using it. So, and the guy was like, "No." Well, your happiness, your religion, is affecting my liberty. In turn, that I should still be able to buy the cake because my liberty trumps your happiness. Does that make sense? That's why I think fundamentally every law bill passed by Congress should be on the basis of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. But I digress. So, killing someone. Your liberty to kill me, taking away my life, you can't do that. I just made the cake.
Okay.
You can point to so many different, almost I would say all, but I'm not sure. There's probably
Well, this creates a dichotomy of control. How much control over your life, liberty, and happiness does the government have in order to ensure that you can obtain life, liberty, and happiness?
There should be a law to not get
There's
killed.
An order. There's
you
an
can't
order.
Kill people.
Right. There's an order. The reason that life comes before liberty and liberty becomes before happiness is the very minimum that is needed. So
yes,
when you're determining whether the government should, you have to look at an example. So take killing someone. I know we keep going back to this one, but I can't think of any other example. If you were determining, now obviously we know not to kill somebody, but put yourself way back before time in which killing someone, think of it as an abstract thought of killing someone and determining whether or not it's legal, right? You have no idea whether it's good or bad. Killing someone is taking someone's life at the expense of someone else's liberty or happiness, right?
Yes.
In turn, using life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, order, life comes before liberty and happiness, in which it trumps being more important, thou shalt not kill.
Okay. Wait. Why did you insert the commandment?
What, thou shalt not kill? That's just the way I said it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with. Yeah, that was just my English.
Okay. That's fair. I just I wish everyone thought that, but I know that there will be people, and a substantial amount of them, who will go against this.
Democrats.
So there needs to be a barrier of control for to, if not satisfy these people, to at least deter them from making radical changes.
Well, I think you have the right to be gay. I think you have the right to, that was gonna get heated right there.
You do not have the right to group in a restaurant in front of, these people's families that you want to make a point to and prevent them from going anywhere. Just solely based on
protest,
and just solely based on the fact that you want to be happy.
Right. So that would that would enter you restricting someone's liberty at the pursuit of someone else's happiness.
At the pursuit of your happiness, you are restricting the liberty of these people to leave and do what they want.
It's almost like I'm a genius
Therefore,
or something.
It should be illegal.
Okay.
What?
It's almost like I'm a genius or something.
I'm gonna hit
you are a genius.
In order to uphold American ideals, the government needs to have power over society. Whether or not it extends past
into the realm of the First Amendment.
And that can also be cropped into the realm of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yes, I was going to say, whether or not it extends past life, liberty, and happiness, I have no idea whether it should or shouldn't. I personally think that there should be exceptions where it does, because life, liberty, and happiness is not a general enough blanket statement to encompass all actions. Specifically enough.
How is it not?
How is it not? Yeah.
John, everything that you do is
it's the very basis of everything.
It's not because they can counteract each other. You're not in real danger if you're being your happiness is not being really destroyed if if you're being told that you're fat or something. Like, yeah, you'll be sad, but it's not like your entire happiness.
But someone's liberty
is...
to tell you that trumps their ability to be happy being fat.
And you're not infringing on liberty or life
of the fat person.
Yeah.
You are, in a way.
How?
Because
that only has to do with raw emotion. That has nothing to do with your liberty to do whatever you want.
Democratic Party.
Okay. How?
Joey's getting really close to his mic again.
It seems like to me that there's no way to ensure all three at once.
That's why there's an order.
Without restrict. Okay, yes, the order of priority.
Well, that becomes the tier system. So when you say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it's not all at once. It's that order. It's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In that order, in a tier system, it's in an order for a reason, I would say. In the fact that if the one before it is affected, you can't do it.
True.
Agreed.
John, you know how I was always talking about how I should write a book?
Yeah.
I think I've realized what my book should be written about. I know this is completely off topic, but I should write a book on the basis of government, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
That would be a good book for today's world, honestly. Because I feel like people have forgotten that.
Wow. Okay. Well, because you know that originally I was going to write 17 and conservative, and then the case for the GOP and stuff like that. But I think I need to get into more philosophical and.
Well, yeah, like political.
Politics is philosophy, so to some degree. So, but I guess let's transition quickly back to LGBTQ and the MeToo movement.
I have the real take here. All right, get ready for that. Trans people are, I feel like, should be allowed to exist under these circumstances. They should be able to change their gender. Like, if you want to be a trans person, you can do that. They should be given government free therapy if they need it.
Whoa.
No. That's discrimination. No.
Oh, dear God. Less government. Okay, listen. Less government.
Why? It's such a good tool to use.
I'll let you finish your point. Well, because government is inefficient, corrupt, and
it's not a tool.
Agendaized.
It's supposed to be something to protect what you can do.
Correct. It's not a tool. That was a good statement, Joey. Ooh, continue, John.
All right. I want it to be a tool, but anyway, I think they should have government-sponsored therapy if they need it, in the same way that like drug addicts do.
Well, like you're talking about like when we throw people in jail?
Yes.
Well, that's just because we don't want them back in jail, and that we try to help them. I guess that's the same thing.
There aren't really any existing, as far as I know, there aren't really any existing.
Because it's helping people stop using drugs is not polarized. That's a national consensus. This is contested.
It's true, but there's no I don't think there's any big insurance companies providing this kind of therapy right now, at least in a big enough area.
Because that's
the therapy is for a different reason.
I would argue that's not healthcare.
You can't compare life to the pursuit of happiness, I don't think. Because with drug addicts, you start with life, right? You're giving them therapy to help, prevent them from doing stupid shit
and dying.
Which would be their killing life. Or hurting somebody else. That's for life, John.
Okay.
When we're looking at pursuit of happiness, we're giving these people therapy by the government for the purposes of them pursuing their happiness. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Which is separated from what the government should be doing. Because that goes back to the point of, like, we talked about the other day about that's why national policy isn't good, because I have different interests from you, and not everyone wants this. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
like the government should have a limited say in certain things. Like, they should obviously advocate for life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. But if you bring in trans people, LGBTQ people like this, the government shouldn't say anything on that, solely because there will be people who will resent the government more. Okay, it'll cause the government more
the minority
problems.
will be oppressed
no.
by the majority
But
without
look at
regulation.
it this way. Look at it this way. Insurance. What is the definition of insurance?
The
Protection of your assets.
Nah,
Well,
I would think more of it like
in regards to health insurance, what is
you will be guaranteed health.
You get money
If you
for a
need it.
hospital.
right in the
You
time?
get money for hospitals.
No. It basically it provides a safety net for a hospital, right? This is
yes.
why, when you break your leg unexpectedly and you need to go to the hospital, that's why you have health insurance. You don't all of a sudden wake up one morning and be like, I'm a female. Like, I need to go to the hospital tomorrow. So
Yeah, no, it's.
I would argue that, conversions and conversion therapy is not healthcare. That would be on the basis of plastic surgery, which is completely out of pocket. You could get into the weeds as far as elective surgeries, but that's different. If you need to get your knee replaced, that affects your actual physical health. So,
Again, life versus pursuit of happiness.
correct.
The government should provide support for the purposes of life,
And liberty.
but not for the purposes and liberty, but not for the purposes of making a certain group of people happy, because always somebody else is going to be unhappy with that.
Because me pursuing your right to happiness is infringing on someone else's right to happiness.
True. So the government should be the great equalizer and just make everyone decently happy, but that's it.
Well, the government should make everyone able to pursue their happiness, but not advocate for a certain happiness.
Correct.
The majority is going to make it difficult for the minority. That's why I'm a stickler for this.
Well, that's not the government's problem to solve.
Well, minority.
Whose problem is it?
Minority how?
Minority, as in there are not nearly as many gay people, lesbians,
but
trans people as straight people.
What are they advocating for that would
the majority doesn't like?
Yes, but they're not advocating for policy. They have rights. So,
yeah.
I mean, we can get into the weeds.
Do trans people have rights? Is it another?
They have rights as an American citizen.
But
that goes back to the black, black debate.
I think
Black
this
Lives
is the problem.
debate, because
people don't have written laws about them. I think that's the problem that they're going for, because, they have the American rights as a citizen, which should give you. I feel like this should just be how all the laws are written to avoid this kind of thing. But I feel like laws that were determined to be fine before they existed are now somehow inhibiting them. I think that's how they either interpret it or it's actually real. Because think about it, gays couldn't get married because the law simply didn't exist.
Yeah, which would mean
laws
restrict their liberty.
Or did it exist in some states that... This was a while ago. So
well, okay, here's the question. Was it a law specifically saying that you cannot get married because you are gay? Or it was Or was it because socially it wasn't accepted, meaning they added a law in to make sure it was accepted?
Anti-gay.
Do you see what I'm trying to say here? So, like,
Yeah.
you get married. Now, was there specifically somewhere that said you cannot get married to the same sex? Because I couldn't imagine that someone wrote that in. Just like when people were thinking, like, skin color way back when. I mean, yeah, were they probably racist? Or not racist, I shouldn't say that. But were they discriminatory? Very likely. But, I mean, implied on the surface, all men are created equal is not... Like, if it said all white men are created equally, that's going out of your way. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying is these people don't. They do have rights. Would passing laws by Congress help? Possibly, but I think that just creates legal battles where people are looking for reasons to sue people, and that's what I don't want.
Yeah.
So I think fundamentally that everyone is equal, obviously. Does it make sense to pass law assuring that LGBTQ members are just treated as equally as we did civil rights? Yes, and I mean they did it with handicapped people too. Does it make sense to do that? Yes, but that just creates legal battles. I don't think you see it as much in the black community as far as legal battles, but I definitely know in the handicapped community it's extreme, like the ambulance chasers and stuff like that. That is huge. And being that liberals are the way they are, i.e. LGBTQ and feminists it would not surprise me that they are running to lawsuits to sue people to ruin people's lives. And I don't want to do that. So I think you need to just let it happen on the consensus of the basis of the Constitution already in place. When we start talking about bathrooms, then it just becomes stupid. But
yeah, you should just go to the bathroom that your new gender is designated as.
Yes, but then it comes down to sports and like, should you be a male athlete or a female athlete? But honestly, what would change that very easily, especially for on the high school level, would be that 18 would be that 18 level of saying, nope, you have to be 18 to be able to change the sex and stuff like that, because that's where it becomes issues in as far as athletes, bathrooms. But that's not a problem of the LGB community. That's only a problem of the T community. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's where I think they should separate. But they have rights. They have rights. They just want to go into whatever bathroom they want. They want to play sports for the opposite sex, and they want you to use their gender. But if I don't want to, I shouldn't be persecuted into doing it. That's dangerous government.
You refuse to do it, though.
No.
Why?
Hate crime would be saying, I'm going to kill you because you're transgender.
I guess, yeah. Just refusing to just do it is pretty tame.
I mean, then it becomes the war on bullying. But I mean, honestly, if you ever watched The Wussification of America by John Stossel, you would actually not to start to support bullying, but I mean, bullying is a part of life. It's what creates the chip on your shoulder to get up and every day and work harder. And look at any athlete that has been ever doubted.
Yeah, and then successful.
Like, beautiful example. Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football. Without a doubt. it's unquestionable. People make the argument for Joe Montana. Sorry. No, it's Brady. Whatever. Drafted 199th overall in the 6th round. Was doubted. I almost just said trouted, but that would have made no sense at all. I was just going to rhyme. Was doubted, and he ended up working hard and being the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football. If he was drafted 1st overall, do you think he would have became the greatest quarterback to ever play the game? Probably, maybe. But who knows? And that goes into the you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That goes into failure. You need failure to succeed, and the whole American idea of getting pushed down and getting back up again.
Yes. This all sounds very correct.
Because if life was easy, no one would want to do it. No one would want to play the game. Because to some degree, if you look at life as a game, what gets people up in the morning, gets people going, is the desire to win. The desire to better yourself and move yourself farther along. The idea of America is winning.
That's a good way to put it.
The idea, the morals, the culture is winning.
Yeah.
And the reason that America wins is because we have a consensus to win.
I don't think today everyone has that same consensus.
Well, that's
but
the
at one
wussification
point,
of America.
Yes.
That would be.
I'm not talking participation trophies. I'm just talking like who deserves to win, and how do
but
you
that still brings you back to the idea of winning.
Yes, it does.
So I would argue that the American idea still should be winning, but people need to realize that and stop protecting losers.
Yeah.
I know we are so far off track from LGBT,
well,
but
I think this was a good. Because these people would be like any minority is the challenged part of society. That's who we're talking about.
Right, and this is why I don't understand why Democrats want direct democracy. A republic protects the right of the minority better than any other political system in the world. So
yeah.
Why do you want to get rid of the Electoral College? Because you lost. Why do you want to go to direct election voting? Because you lost. There's still that desire to win. They just have to recognize it and stop changing the rules to stop losing.
They just have to adapt to what we currently have.
Actually, I'm gonna give a nice story. John, are you aware of the game Territory Takeover?
Yes, I am aware of the game Territory Takeover.
A game I created in which I draw a map, divide the land up, and the first person to conquer all the land, moving in a turn fashion of conquering territory. I realized in my desire to win the game, I got called out on my bullshit, changing the rules so that I would win. I'm going to give you a 100% honest statement. I've only ever lost one game of Territory Takeover. And it was the last game I ever played, to give you an idea.
Mm-hmm.
My desire to win led me to change the rules to make it easier for me to win, which caused the game to no longer be fun. Democrats changing the rules to make them win makes life no longer fun. It gets rid of competition. It makes people not want to play the game anymore. So, you either play the game and you find different strengths to win the game.
Strategize.
Right. Trump, i.e. Trump for the Republicans.
Yeah.
You find a way to win the game the right way. And that's what keeps you going.
You don't try to change the game, you just try to figure out how to win the game. And if you don't win the game, you lose the game, and that's it.
Yes.
You get back up and you start over.
America.
Oops. Yeah. I agree now.
I need to write a book.
That leads me into the MeToo movement. I think that
all right, perfect.
There is no way that all of them are telling the truth.
Okay, I'm gonna go in a rant here. Their equal pay the pay gap is a myth. Ready for this?
Okay, that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about.
I know, but I'm gonna go in a rant here.
Okay.
Men, on average, work more because the pay gap is an average. So everything has to be based on average. Men work on average, more than 8 hours a day. Women work, on average, less than 8 hours a day. Men are more likely to take promotions. Women are less likely to take promotions. Simply...
Why?
Well, the argument for why women are less likely to take promotions is they're less likely to take change, oftentimes don't like to add stress because oftentimes they have children at home, and taking on a bigger responsibility would imply that they have to sell themselves more to work, in which that takes away time from their family and children, because at the end of the day, they are still still have that mother mentality, and the father still has, like, a male still has that father mentality. So, of like, father needs to make more money, mother mentality needs to protect children. You know what I mean? And I mean, I know that's very like the Republican mother thing or whatever, Abigail Adams, but there is a biological thought in people that, you know, men try to make more money to provide for their family, and women are just better nurturers and provide for their children. It's just fact. It's biology. It's not. I mean, yes, can women go out and make more money, and, you know, are there exceptions to the rules? Yes, but it's just that's just what it is. Facts before feelings, you know. So, yes, am I saying that women have to stay in the kitchen? No, obviously not. But it's just what it is. It's not. You can't change that. And I guess this gets into the empower women, and it's like they did a study. 100 men versus 100 women throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
From fit to not fit. If you have 100 men throw a baseball, 98 of them will always throw the baseball farther than the woman.
Where are you going with this?
I don't know where I'm going with this, but basically what I'm saying is there are fundamental differences between men and women, and to champion around that there's not is just kind of false.
That's okay. That clears everything up.
Yeah, I forget the baseball thing, but basically it was like they had 98. I don't know. Something about 98% of men will always be able to throw a baseball farther than a woman. So if you were to take like 100 people or something like that, just like the physical difference or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
So you basically, so your point is people try
People
to
will,
complain about
equalize
something
something
that
that's
can't be changed.
not.
yes, so they complain about something they can't change, like accepting gay people. You can't change people's opinion on whether they like gay people or not. You can't change people's opinions on whether they think trans people should have rights or not.
At least it's got to be. I feel like it's got to be like filtered through society in a way. Like
Right, and
you can't like if something is legal, such as gay marriage, for example. The longer it's legal, I feel like the more people are going to accept it.
right,
Because they'll see it more in society and they'll be like, oh well,
right.
it's what it is. It's society,
I mean,
right?
people from the north, I know, I can definitely see that around here. You know, we were the people that didn't approve slavery. Well, you didn't approve slavery. It doesn't mean you weren't racist, and didn't,
Yeah, a
discourage
lot of those
black
people.
people.
Yeah.
Over time, I mean, it is safe to say that white supremacy is now the minority.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen. White supremacy is not going to go away tomorrow. It takes time, and there will always be
racism.
There will always be someone that still believes it, and until it fully dies, but there still could be people in the future that have it or not have it. I say it like have it like a disease, but
Disease.
there still could be people believe it, but that's where you have to wait. You see what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
So
You have to
patient,
wait for to wait for society to accept you, because no government policy constitutional is going to be able to fix that.
Going by a certain policy for so long and being used to it, like people when they see different things are less apt to accept it right away because they've been so used to it.
Right. Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine.
No, stop barking.
Yeah, so it just becomes like realizing that you're not going to change people's opinions. So trying to and pushing people to is not, shoving it down your throat, as you said, is not going to help people. It's change their mind. Actually, in fact, I would argue that it goes the other way.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Like, being open about your sexuality is not something that people are that keen on hearing about.
And I mean, and if it's something you really care about, then you should be able to wait.
If I could tell a quick story, personal experience.
Go ahead.
I'll leave out names, so just for the sake of privacy. So freshman year, I just met Abby in biology class, right?
Your girlfriend,
and she was
context.
My girlfriend. Yes. And she hung out with this really annoying group of people, and most of them were from the LGBTQ plus community. And so every day they would say something out loud openly about their sexuality. Okay, and it wasn't just to me, but it was to everybody. Now, she sat with these people at lunchtime, and so I went over a couple times and sat with them, which was a mistake. I totally regret it. Which is probably where this little, I don't want to say resentment, but unacceptance for protests in this regard came from. So one time, just to mess with me, they, not my girlfriend, she was next to me, I was sitting at a different table, and that group of people at lunchtime came up to me in my face, literally in my face, like 2 inches away from my face, and yelled, "I'm gay." Okay?
That's screwed up.
2 inches from my face, literally. Now, I was trying to be careful about what I said back, because it could be taken a variety of ways that would make me out to be somebody who I'm not. So I said, back in the same tone, I don't care. And then all hell broke loose from there. Everybody thought, in that group at least, thought that I was a sexist, a homophobic person, somebody to hate, right? Like I don't, like I've said before, I do not hate these people. I don't.
They want to be the victim.
Exactly. When you're going out like that and purposely being rude and just disrespecting people's personal space, that's just not something you should do.
Yeah.
Right? It makes me the victim. I'm the victim. It makes me hate them more. And in turn, it may seem like to them that I hate them because they're gay. No, that's not it. I hate them because they were being disrespectful to me using the fact that they were gay. So that's probably where my roots came from.
Now.
That's why I argue this. And it just pisses me off when people are that way and so vocal about it without being respectful.
Yeah, I think that the young population is definitely, like, the young radical population is definitely the one that, like, brings everybody down.
You know what that's similar to?
I don't want to generalize either. It was just those group of people.
You know what that's similar to? Would be like a white person using the N-word versus a black person.
Yeah.
In which it's used by some people and it's perfectly fine, but by others it becomes a you know, a crisis to some degree. So I think that people need to just stay in their own lane. I believe that LGBTQ, even feminists, I think that everyone has rights.
Yeah.
And what they're advocating for not only is unfixable by law, I would argue any possible solutions to, right these social problems are either A, unconstitutional, or B, unnecessary. Mm-hmm. If we get into the weeds of MeToo, we can argue, sexual assault, but I don't think we'll do that here. I would condemn it, as well as I believe the two of you would as well, that it's not okay to rape someone.
Of course.
So when we start talking about Me Too and we say, well, believe all women and, women shouldn't be raped, we would all stand behind
Hopefully
that.
Agree.
Agree that, people shouldn't be raped. Men and women. Men do actually get raped. It's a very small percentage, but it's an actual thing. I think we should be consensus about it, just like, drugs. But when you politicize it and tie it to other movements and tie it to the wage gap or
unrelated
polarize
issues.
Republicans, then it becomes a problem. Then it becomes ridiculous.
It turns into calling a Trump supporter a racist, a sexist, and all that only because they're a Trump supporter.
Right. So
that's a whole other can of worms, because he is not careful with his words.
And then what else doesn't help?
I agree.
You know what else doesn't help? Is putting Blasey Ford, I don't know what her first name is, on the cover of Time, saying believe all women, and her not having even close to a credible argument. And then Tara Reid gets up there and accuses Joe Biden, and everyone's like, sometimes women are wrong, and that hypocrisy is absolutely ridiculous. And you could see why people on the right, especially people on the right, are like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because they see the hypocrisy and you're actually polarizing them more. You want to put something in front of people that's non-political that everyone agree with. I.e., drugs are bad. Murder is bad. Raping people is bad. And say, again, on the basis of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, that we need to fundamentally agree on certain things. And anytime you try to politicize something to gain momentum, i.e. Democrats, identity politics, you need to realize the hypocrisy in that, and you really need to stop playing the identity game, because it will bite you in the butt. And you can see that happening very often now. And I give Republicans all the credit in the world to call their bullshit out.
At this point, the Democratic Party has gone so far left, and it's just ridiculous, because they're making all claims and all that stuff, and it's just too much.
Do you guys remember when that girl asked Biden about transgenders?
No.
No, I don't.
Okay, so like, this was very early on where people started to like make fun of Biden's takes. She asked him about something related to gender, I believe, and
and he probably
looked at her and said, "Don't play these games with me."
Ooh.
I think that I think he slipped up there, because like, you're not supposed to let them know that.
I don't think.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of
very radical anymore, but
no, not anymore. But like, what I mean is, like, I think that most people are just not saying how like identity politics is stupid, and you're like,
Democrats are not calling out their own bullshit. That's why it becomes political, because only the Republicans are. Only Fox News is, So I don't know.
I feel like the bottom line is there has to be a different way of conveying the point of the LGBTQ community without spewing it in people's face.
Right, yes.
And making people feel bad for them for no reason. Because right now, they have all the rights that any other straight person would have.
Any other American.
They're trying. There you go. They're trying to eliminate something that we can't eliminate, nor can the government eliminate.
Constitutionally.
Yeah.
Yes, because you can't change what people think. That's just, you can't. Right. So you can complain about it, and we can support you, but you don't have to yell at us for not helping you fix something and wasting our time for something that shouldn't be allocated time.
Yeah.
Well,
what's our runtime?
We are just hitting an hour and 24 minutes. I was just about to say, well, normally we would do final remarks, but it seems like we kind of just did that. I'll leave the floor open if anyone wants to add anything. I know I'm all set.
I just want to do a couple quick words. A fun fact. Earlier, I was playing Devil's Advocate. Because there's no way in hell anyone would actually think what I said. I just needed, to me, identity politics is radical and very stupid. It should disappear, and then that should be final. I agree that we cannot change the way society thinks without infringing upon freedom of speech. Though the authoritarian in me sees a shortcut by using the government as a tool, but that's for the government episode.
Authoritarian bad.
Authoritarian maybe good. But as far as MeToo goes, this is what I want to say about that. If MeToo, if you were raped, that sucks, and you should get justice.
If you were raped, that sucks.
That sucks. That's
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, you have it.
Yeah.
If you get raped, that sucks.
However, if you wait like 10 years to say something about it, I'm not going to help you.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Especially if you're talking about a politician.
Right, and I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
Your slander, like, you should have came out with it way earlier so that you don't slander this person's career.
Well, that becomes the movement as like, oh, we're empowering women, it's working. Maybe, but it just, you can't have double standards with it.
Yeah, double standards are stupid.
You know, you can't trot out people like Blasey Ford, who, you know, proven in court, made up a story and was the reason used to try to block Kavanaugh. That's just crap. And then turn around a year later and say, Joe Biden? Yeah, he's
like
accountable and electable. Okay, so what was Kavanaugh? When Tara Reid can come up with a more credible story than Blasey Ford did? I'm just saying. I guess I'll leave it on that.
Yeah, this whole topic, will be my final statement. The problem with encompassing all these groups together is that you force double standards.
Double standard.
Yep. And that's why they should not be grouped like this. It should be T should go to be their own thing.
Look,
and the rest should stay because they're similar.
Look, this is just simply factions. People believing different things. And the idea of a republic is to control factions. So, let it be here, America. You have the greatest system in the world to deal with this problem. The only problem for you is the way to solve the problem is not what you want. But the government shouldn't be a tool. It is a protectorate of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whether you want to believe it or not, anti-gays, anti-LGBTQ, anti-feminists, they have rights too.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you're going to do about it to ostracize them into changing their mind, because it's only going to make it worse.
There's nothing that you're going to get done right now.
Right. And with that, I think we will end.
This has been the two sides of politics.
I want to thank Joey for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Jack.
Quick announcement. We're live every Tuesday and Thursday around 3 o'clock. So we kind of have a schedule now. Kind of. Watch.
Yeah.
Something's going to pop up Thursday and we won't be live. But Tuesdays and Thursdays at around 3 o'clock. Check us out. Turn on push notifications. Follow us on the gram and Twitter at the Two Sides of Politics. And thank you for watching.